So once you, so let's say this is income from product A. So I just treat this as an income, but the fees that was paid on this particular transaction. So I want to treat this separately. And as you can also see, the platform also gives you description, which we simplify the entire blockchain transactions and give you description. So here it is like in this particular transaction, I staked Uni V2 and
Accounting crypto means thousands of transactions, fluctuating prices, multiple wallets, exchanges, and bank accounts. One mistake means inaccurate reports, compliance risks, and wasted hours. KoinX Books simplifies it all. Seamlessly import transactions, automate categorization, and get real-time insights. Fast, accurate, stress-free. KoinX Books, your solution to the chaos.
Hello.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So Punit, yeah, so thanks for joining us today. So just nice we were speaking about crypto accounting for half a day, and then we were on the part of sharing about crypto subledgers, and I told the group that crypto subledgers help to pull data from the blockchain and to put it into financial report. I gave them a very brief demo of the KoinX system. And also, I told them that, Punit has been very supportive of the Web3 accounting industry, and all the free reports that they are reading today is, have a good credit that comes from you, and I'm very thankful for you. So yeah, with that, yeah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So hello everyone, I'm Punit Agarwal. I'm the founder and CEO at KoinX. I'm building KoinX for the last 3.5 years. So I do not have accounting background unlike most of you on this call. But then I'm an engineer by background, then was exposed. So been active in the crypto industry for about 9 years now. Uh, Previous to building KoinX, I was heading the crypto relief fund. Like some of you who are active in the crypto industry might have heard about this, where Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, he gave $1 billion in Shiba to help India fight COVID. So I was leading that fund. I was CEO there, and that is where, because it was a large fund, a lot of compliances came in, and my interest towards crypto compliances started picking up. So yeah, that's how the journey started. And back in April 2022, we started building CoinX. The idea was, so we started retail first, meaning we started helping the retail investors in crypto comply with their taxation norms. Like a lot of you might be joining in from Europe, UK, or other countries where crypto is already taxed. There is capital gains taxes on profits that you earn from crypto. So that is where the platform started, where we helped retail investors just plug their entire data from blockchain or exchanges or wallets, and system processes the transactions and gives them how much taxes do they pay and how they pay in their local country. So that's how the journey started. We scaled this to 1 million users on the retail side, partnered with a lot of exchanges, including Bybit, BitGet, Bitstamp, CoinDCX, Mudrex, a lot of them, about 40. And that's where we decided, like to also expand it into the enterprise side accounting. So that's a bit about my background and the company's background. Hope that was helpful.
Yeah. Thank you, Punit. So, what are some of the issues that your enterprise customers actually face?
Right. So there are a lot. I will try to talk about some of the major ones. Uh, I think with a lot of companies, especially who are like I'll talk about different genre of companies and then what challenges do they have. For companies which is largely in the initial phases, startups, mostly founders led. So in for them, the major challenge is the data is fragmented because founders, just to make a payment, they just create a wallet, send it out, open another chain, and then send the data and send the payments out. Sometimes they use that own wallet for their personal expenses. Sometimes they use it for company expenses. So, and after a point of time, they lose a track in terms of how many wallets do they create, which wallet is for what activity, with who are they transacting with. Like it's always on the go. You just talk to an employee, say, hey, like I have to pay you $1,000. I have it available in Tron chain. Can you take it? He said yes. You just transfer. Someone else said it's Polygon chain. Okay, transfer. So it's not organized, it's not like there's no SOPs in terms of how the payments flow work. So when they realize later on that they have to account for these transactions, it's a very difficult time for them to even remember who these transactions were sent to, what was the purpose, and how do they categorize these. That is like one challenge that I see a lot with early stage companies, which is largely, like founders and few team members. Now, when as the companies scale, uh, and like this is a problem that I've seen in mid-market sort of companies where there is a treasury team and then there is a finance team. The treasury team deals with crypto transactions. They send out crypto here and there to maybe, to add liquidity into some pools or to strategize and create new wallets, open new exchanges for trades. But finance team is completely unaware about what the transaction is and how do they start categorizing these transactions. So that's why the gap is not in data, but the gap is in communication about what the data belongs to and how do they categorize it. So this is like another, I'm talking about a lot of challenges on the ops side because this is day to day in terms of like how crypto companies operate in, and treasury teams are not aware about, how how can they share insights with the finance team. How do they, like it's just Excel that they maintain, and almost all the times it's very fragmented data again. So here the manual reconciliation becomes a nightmare for finance teams because some data is with some team, some data is with someone else, someone, like they have created multiple wallets. They do not get the complete data downloaded from different exchanges. They only share part information, which does not accumulate the entire sort of transactions. So let's say from an exchange, you only downloaded spot transactions, but have not included deposit and withdrawal transactions. So now when the finance team is accounting for those transactions, they would see that there is a negative balance which is coming in as per records because there is no deposit that was received, but still you find sell entry of those transactions. So this is where manual reconciliations becomes difficult when it's two teams and there's no clear SOPs in terms of what data is needed, how do they account for it. Apart from it, I think lot of it is then about not knowing how to account for transactions. Since there is again no clarity in terms of or no standardization in terms of how does accounting works in crypto. So a lot of them come up with their own logics, with their own understandings, and then try to account for transactions. So someone might think staking transaction or staking rewards, when I'm receiving that, it's not an income, but when I'm finally converting it or disposing it, only then I want to treat as income. But with someone else, they might think that whenever I'm just receiving the transaction, it should be treated as an income. So this is where I think the standardization is missing, and different, and to be honest, every crypto company is very unique, right? Their nature of business, their mode of operations, the way that they are operating, and their like SOPs is completely different. So there is also not one rule which can fit for all. If I work with an treasury company that is doing staking, for them staking rewards will be different. But if I'm working with a validator who is receiving staking rewards, their nature of business or their nature of income would be completely different. So I think this is where like getting in more awareness, understanding how exactly should we account for our nature of business, for our line items of transactions. I think that is key important area that accountants have to look into.
Thank you, Punit. So the question that I have for you is just now you mentioned that one of the problem is the communication between, the accounting teams and treasury teams or the accountant teams and operational teams. What do you think is the solution to this?
I think this cannot be independent teams. They need to work together. Finance team needs to understand how the entire ops of business works. How do they add liquidity? Which egg platform do they use for what purpose? What are the types of transactions that they need to do in that? And treasury team needs to understand how accounting, like not exactly in depth, but they need to understand on a high level in terms of what data inputs are needed so that accounting team can work the best, and like they have the complete information. So rather than having it as independent teams, these both teams needs to communicate to each other and understand how each of them function. I think only that is the way to look at it, because again, here there is no one fit for all. Different companies have different ops, different structures. For example, if one is trading crypto, other is a market maker. So for market maker, they are completely on the opposite side of the trade, but a trading company is on this side. For both of them, it's spot trades that's happening in, but the categorization of spot trades would be very different in terms of foreign trader versus a market maker. So I think the only way is to treat together, work closely, understand each function, and then like have a constant communication between the teams.
Thank you. So the next one is can you give us a demo of the KoinX platform quickly?
Sure. Let me start sharing my screen. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yep.
Okay. Just 1 second, I think. Uh, Share. Yeah, I'm just resharing my entire screen because I think, yeah. Is this visible now?
No, on my screen is white. Okay, it came already.
It came?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. So the very first step, how the entire platform starts is
Wow, Punit, I'm so happy I got you to share, your screen is so much prettier than my screen.
thank you. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to start adding wherever your transactions are. Now these could be wallets, these could be like exchanges, or wherever whichever platforms you have transactions or. So in order to do that, you can just like find whichever platform you want to integrate. For example, Binance. So you can just upload the Binance statements to get your data coming in, or if it's any other like Polygon chain that you want to add, you just need to submit the address and the system fetches the entire transactions. So now what this does is it basically like fetches your complete transactions and then calculates your unifies all of your transactions, calculate what did you buy, what did you sell, and get everything into a unified ledger. The best part is you can also add bank accounts and credit cards into the platform, meaning your entire fiat transactions, your entire crypto transactions, crypto to fiat, fiat to crypto, everything can be captured in a single dashboard. Now, once you add all of this, you would see that all of your transactions are created in this unified format where you see deposit, incoming asset, outgoing asset, like the swap transactions. So the platform will automatically understand the transactions and treat it as swap, treat it as deposits, all of it. You can filter transactions based on wallets or types or labels. So, like you can filter out spam transactions so that you only focus on what's most important. And based on this, like you can just go through the entire data set that is and start categorizing and accounting these transactions. Let me show you an example. So for here, this is a transaction on, like I'll just zoom in. Yep. So 6th September 2020, there is a BNSD coin which is received in the wallet. And now the worth of this BNSD on that day is 239 US dollars. So now let's say that this particular deposit came for an invoice that I raised. So it's against like it's like my sales income that I've received it. So if I want to categorize this, I can just click on add category. Here I can just select what head is the primary transaction. Is it an income, asset, liability, expense, or equity? So let me treat this as an income. Now all the accounts that I have created would be, like I would see those. And if I want to create some new line items, I can just click on create a new chart of account. And based on what the transaction type is, I can just set the account name. I can set the parent name account so that, like whichever way I want the reporting to happen. And I can just create n number of accounts. There is no limit on how many parent accounts you can create, how many child accounts, how many like sub accounts. There's no limit around. So once you so let's say this is income from product A. So I just treat this as an income, but the fees that was paid on this particular transaction, so I want to treat this separately. And as you can also see, the platform also gives you description, which we simplify the entire blockchain transactions and give you description. So here it is like in this particular transaction, I staked Uni V2 and then claimed 1825 BNSD in rewards. So, like this is exactly what the transaction is. But then just to explain, I'll just treat this as income or as maybe other income or so. And so the platform automatically simplifies the transaction. So you don't have to go to Blockchain Explorer and then see what's happening and then try to understand. We sum it up entirely and give you a clear description for it. Now you can also categorize the fees as an expense. Maybe this could be as gas fees. So this is where I was referring to, like parent account, child account, sub account. So you can just create hierarchy level accounts, for your clarity. So I can just treat this as a gas fee expense and then I can click on save. Now what it does is it then passes a journal which will, create debit and credit entries for these transactions. So let me just show you the journal that was created. So this is the journal that we just accounted for. And so it will have, like the treasury account, which is the BNSD that is getting debit for the equivalent value. The credit is, this is for the gas fees, ether. So, and the debit for gas fees expense. And for this debit, there is credit and other income. So this is how the system automatically, then adds a journal for you. And accordingly, these different heads or ledgers gets updated and their entry would start getting reflected in all of these respective reports. So all the crypto assets would be under balance sheets and all the income and expenses will be under the P&L, profit and loss statements. So this is prima facie how the entire categorization works. Now, once you start categorizing transactions, you would start seeing patterns. You would see that a lot of transactions are like belonging to similar structure. Now, your question will be, if I have thousands of transactions, do I have to categorize each transaction one by one? No, you do not have to. There is something called as automations, right? Where you can create rules and define that whenever these rules meet, I want the transaction to be automatically categorized. I don't want to do one by one level of categorization. So let's say I just create a rule of capturing BNSD rewards. And then I say that whenever my received coin is BNSD and, the type is deposit, and possibly also add the fact that the description contains BNSD rewards. I can just do anything, right? There's a lot of combinations and or I can just play around. I can just set rules, and whenever these conditions matches, I want this transaction to be treated as an income, as maybe my other income, right? And if in this transaction there is any fees, I want to treat it as an expense and as a gas fees expense. I can also set priority so that if similar two rules have similar conditions, which rule do I want to prioritize first? And then I can say that I want to categorize, like run this automation on all the existing transactions. And I can just click on save. So all the transactions that has already processed, like it will, the automation will run on the entire group and it will, like for thousands or millions of transactions, which is already processed, it will just redo the entire thing. And, like all the transactions which have been categorized now, you would start seeing them under recognized category in transactions. So this is where you will see that all the rules that you have created based on which category is it suggesting, and you can just, like select them and approve them at once. So without you having to categorize one by one each and every transaction, you can just bulk select and approve the categorization. So this is how, you can take control of your accounting and scale it by just creating in rules and utilizing those rules. Now, once you've done the entire accounting or imported your data, the biggest question that you may have is my data correct? Is the data complete? How do you check whether your accounting is complete? If you have, completed any traditional accounting, mostly how I and my accountant used to look at it is, first thing that we match is the closing balance matching from what is there in the bank statement to what the books have calculated. Is the balances matching for that particular period? So if it's not, then there's some transaction which is not yet categorized. If it matches, then I'm sure that at least maybe, all the transactions are done, the final values are matching. It could be that some expense is a salary expense but might be categorized as other expense, but at least the entire data is there and the balances are matching. Now here in crypto, the biggest challenge is, when you're accounting for transactions until September, let's say, how would you calculate what was the balance of your wallet at end of September 2025? That is because, blockchain does not give you historical balance directly. It's very difficult to find that. So how do you start capturing those? So that is where we have tools called balance reconciliations, where you can, for a lot of chains, you can automatically fetch the entire balance. For a lot of exchanges, you can just take a snapshot as on that day and store that in an Excel. So what this happens, how this works is, I can just select any chain and reconcile them. So let's say I select Binance Smart Chain and I say I want to reconcile until end of September. So the platform will fetch the balances as on blockchain for end of September for whatever time period. Let's say like I just want to do it for 23, which is 11:59 PM, right? So I just want to fetch the balances until this, and then I just proceed. The system will fetch the balances for that particular wallet as on that particular date. And that's where the entire, and it will also match with all the balances that is calculated in CoinX. And it will say that for these coins, the balances are matching. For these coins, there is a variance, so that you can be assured on, the data completeness. This is my test account, so do not worry about the error and mismatches, because there's a lot of testing that's happening in where I delete transactions, where I edit and see those. But in your cases, you would start seeing the exact matches for the transactions that you're processing it. So yep, this is how you can get in control in your, of your entire data, see whether your balances are accurate and, your closing balances are matching. And then finally, the reports side, where, you can start seeing all of these reports, like for business overview, balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow, trial, etc. So for balance sheet, you can just select like which date you want the balance sheet to be, and then the system will calculate your entire balance sheet as on that day for all the assets, liabilities. Again, like you'll see a lot of negative here because I have not categorized all the transactions. It's a test account, but once you have categorized all the transactions, you would exactly see the, the balances and, the total earnings, liability, the entire balance sheet, which you can download in both Excel and PDF. So I hope this helps. Is there any questions, anything?
Yeah, thank you, Punit. So I think there's a question here, do we have traditional ARAP and manual journal section, or do we still need the manual journal? So for example, if an accountant want to accrue for bonuses, so these are off-chain transactions,
Right.
can they put manual journal in?
Yes, they can. So under journals, there is a section called new journal, wherein you can just select which accounts, which date you want the transaction to be, and you can just enter credit and debit accounts and pass manual journals.
Thank you. And the other one is, do you have traditional ARAP module? So I think for an accountant, something that is pretty important is, if they send an invoice out, they want to see like, is the invoice For example, has it been received, or it has not been he has been paid, it has not been paid, like, yeah.
Absolutely. So that is the phase two of KoinX Books. So in phase one, we wanted to bring in the basic features and functionalities for crypto accounting. The phase two is where we are adding the complete sales module, purchase module, where you'll be able to add vendors, customers, invoices, keep a track of your payments that you have made for them, the payments that you have received from them, and everything. So, like you would start seeing those modules coming in first quarter of 2026. And that is where the entire like your invoice tracking, your bills tracking, your vendors ledger, your customers ledger, you would be able to do all of it.
Thanks. Thank you. Is there any more questions for Punit itself with regards to the software? So I think Punit, I think got two more questions for you. At least I think it's from them. It's like, is there a free trial?
Yes, there is. So you can just reach out to us, and we would like create a data for your organization and give you a trial for 15 days.
And okay, so the other one is, how do they reach out to you?
Right. So you can email me on puneet@coinx.com. I will just type it on the chat.
Yeah, can you put it in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, then somebody was asking that on the left of your screen there's a treasury account. What does it mean?
Right. Very great question. Thanks for bringing this. So in treasury accounts, this is where, like what we've done is for all your crypto wallets, all the transactions that is there, like we have just created ledgers for these. So in chart of accounts, it's basically the accounts that you have created. But treasury accounts is what system automatically creates for each of your wallet and for each of the asset in that wallet. Now, for example, under Polygon, there is USDC. If I click on this, I get to see the entire ledger of USDC. Like when is the first I received, when did I send it, and after each of this transaction, what is the closing balance. So if you ever want to check what is like if you're seeing a final balance of 100 USDC in your account and want to see where did it came from, where did it go, treasury accounts is the place to look at it. I hope this made sense.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. Excuse me.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you for your sharing. Yeah, actually, I'm not very familiar with the Bitcoin or the blockchain transaction actually, but I'm specialized in traditional accounting. So my question is that, so when you create or you use such kind of software to record the transaction, for the company or I mean the enterprise, is there any control that they can do or they can design by themselves in this software? Or it is necessary to have some control that they need to do it by themselves? I know that for the blockchain, they actually is decentralized and they automatically record the transaction details, right? So I'm still want to know if there are any controls or some control points or something like the gateways that they need to set up. Yeah, they need to set up when they have the account.
So sorry, actually my network got lost. So can you please repeat the question? I understood. I heard until where you said that you're not from the crypto accounting, but you have expertise in traditional
Oh,
accounting.
okay. So I will repeat my question. So actually, my question is that if an enterprise want to have the accounting in this software, so do they need to set up some gateway or some rates control or some control points by themselves? Even though I know that for the blockchain or some transactions, they automatically record, but is that any risks that they will have if they use such kind of software to record, or when they award the external auditors review their transaction, if there are still something or some gateways or the risks that they or control points that they need to design by themselves?
Great, very thanks. This is a very interesting and great question. So the most important factor is KoinX always takes only read-only access to your data, right? We do not. So even if you create APIs from exchanges and upload it on KoinX, we only take read access. And in a lot of cases, if you do not want to create APIs, you can just download the data from these exchanges and upload the data as is on KoinX. So in those cases, there is even no API exposure to the KoinX system at all. Plus, so like there is no risk as such, because these are transactions that have already occurred, and we just only take those transactions to give you insights and allow you to categorize those transactions. We can never move your funds or touch the funds in these wallets, right? So this is only a read access. There is no signing access. There is no write access access that you need to give. And hence, if you see the section where we ask to add wallets or chains, we do not give you an option to connect wallet or anything. You just have to paste the address and submit. So there is never that risk of, like when you're connecting, you don't sign a message, or like you don't uh, select a particular give any other access. Now at internal organization, we take care of your privacy a lot. Like we are SOC 2 type 2 certified, ISO 27001 certified, and GDPR compliant. So like all these three certifications, which is internationally recognized for security standards, KoinX systems and like the apps are we have been audited for all these three certifications.
I got your point. So your point is that the most important is that the company can set up about the access right? So who have the rights to, for example, input. So the transaction actually is, I mean, the record, the journal entries or some other things actually is just imposed by the transaction, right? So if a transaction automatically incurred, for example, so they automatically record the journal entry, right? Just like some other ERP.
Correct.
So yeah, so your point is that they need to have somebody may have the rights to revise it or download.
Correct.
Okay, so maybe I can step in a little bit here. So records on the blockchains are immutable and transparent, as has been said the whole morning. Like we have accessed this information using OKLink or using Etherscan. So when KoinX Books connects to the data, similarly to Etherscan or OKLink, they act as explorers and read the data. The data cannot be changed, and we are adding, journal entries to the records on the blockchain itself. So in no way can such explorers move the funds itself or actually change the historical records.
Yeah, sorry. My point is that yes, of course, for the on the blockchain, nobody can change the record, but the software is another issue, right? Because the software actually is just records the transaction and generates the reports. So it is possible that even though in the blockchain or on the internet, the transaction is accurate or the data cannot be changed. But when you generate the reports during this process, is that possible that someone can change the record or something like that?
No, so the best part is, let's say if the transaction has happened and if the data is fetched on KoinX and someone changes the data, someone edits the data, there is a complete audit trail for it. So even in cases it happens that, there is someone has invested in a private coin whose price was not available in public markets, right? Because these might be a seed investment, a private sale that has happened. In those scenarios, your team enters the price, edits the transaction, enters the price manually, and then like says that this particular coin we bought for $100,000. So there is an edit functionality in KoinX, but there is an entire audit trail. So if you want to check what has changed, what happened, who made the changes, the entire data can be found in audit trail directly in the reports section.
Okay, I see. So it seems that nobody can change that, but you mean the access, the right means that who can see the transaction details, right? So you can design or Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
So KoinX has a section called roles where you can create for all of these modules the roles like who have only read access, who have create access, and then invite your team members
Yeah,
with
it
spread
makes
roles.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can invite team members with different roles. So the anyone who has access to those roles only can make changes. No one else can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. So you can design it by yourself, right?
Correct. Exactly.
Okay, update, delete, right? Okay, I see. Yeah.
Okay, thanks
Thank
for
you.
the
Thank you.
questions and the interesting discussion. Yeah, so it's quite interesting to see like on one side we have talking about how the records goes from the blockchain to the financial report itself, and yeah, CoinX is one of the platform outside that can do this, and we thank Punit for sharing his precious time with us. I've left his contact inside the chat box. Yeah, so if anybody is interested in the free software or trial, or want to connect more with Punit, he's always very happy to chat. I have talked to him at very late timings, yeah, and very welcoming person, yeah. So thank you. I think his internet got cut already, but yeah, yeah, okay.
No,
So we shall
thanks.
call.
Yeah.
Oh, is he here? Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sri. Thanks for inviting. And I hope everyone on this call, you gotten some insights in terms of how the platform works and what are the key challenges that finance team faces when it comes to accounting. But my DMs are all available. I'm available on almost all platforms: Twitter, Telegram, email, WhatsApp. So, just feel free to reach out to me. I'm active on all of these channels, and LinkedIn, and wherever you are comfortable, I'd be very happy to answer any on all of your questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Punit. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
thank you. Okay.